Today on Around Kansas, see what adventures Deb has been up to. Then in our wildlife segment, it's all about the crow. Next, on the Front Porch, we take a look at the history of the Brown Grand Theater in Concordia. Ron Wilson is back with another poem. And we end with some of the amazing fossils of Kansas and the people behind those discoveries.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Around Kansas. I'm Deb Goodrich, and I'm coming to you from someplace else today. I'm actually recording in a motel room, which is where I spend an awful lot of my time these days, traveling around Kansas and just beyond. So, knee-deep into February, and of course this has been Black History Month, and our friend Michelle Martin has shared a lot of interesting Kansas connections for Black History Month. And then coming into March, we have a new exhibit opening at the Kansas State Historical Society. And I was visiting with Mary Madden over there the other day. Mary is an absolute treasure. She's such an amazing woman. Such an amazing woman. And look at these cool little cards. You've got to pick these up. They've got a new exhibit. I think Mary said it opens March 14th, but check out their website to be sure. And these are little biographical cards of women and a couple of men who were instrumental in that time. Charles Langston, speaking of Black History Month, one of the earliest advocates for African American male suffrage. So lots of great history going on over there. So make sure you stop in the Kansas State Historical Society in the coming weeks and check out that new exhibit. I know it's just going to be phenomenal. Had a wonderful time visiting with Mary as always, and going over to the museum. And while I was in Topeka, I stopped in to see my friend Bridget Jobe, who is now over at Travel and Tourism. I know Wyandotte County misses her a lot, but she's still promoting Wyandotte County and all the great places around Kansas. We talked about, had a great conversation with Bridget, and we talked about how, you know, it's not east versus west or north central versus southeastern. It's not urban versus rural. It's urban and rural. You know, we've got such unique spots with such unique geography and history and fun things to do all over the state. So I'm really tickled to see Bridget in that position, and really look forward to working with her on all the projects that we've got going on with around Kansas, and with Santa Fe Trail and Smoky Hill Trail, and just all the great stuff going on around Kansas. Really looking forward to that. And as some of you know, I got to visit Philadelphia a while back and visit really dear friends there. And one of our segments coming up, I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about the trip to Philadelphia. But I wanted to give a shout out to Chef Walter Steib. I mispronounced it Stabe, but it's actually Steib. And my friends Andy and Carol Waskey and I visited with Chef at the City Tavern Cafe. If you are in Philadelphia, please, please, please go see Chef at City Tavern. It was to die for. Amazing harpist, and I took a a little video of him, and I got to stand in the very spot where Washington met Lafayette. And I'm telling you, for this little girl from Virginia, that was pretty special. So Walter is coming back out to Kansas. He was here at the Mahaffey Stagecoach stop earlier. It was in October, I think, and he'll be back this year to do some more filming. So he tried to keep you posted on when that new season of A Taste of History begins. So lots of good stuff. Stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about umbrella coverage. Did you know that if you're held liable in any type of accident, the judgment can claim your assets? Please give me a call so we can discuss. 316-945-6733.
My name's Karen Cope and I have multiple sclerosis. When you have MS, on the outside you look great, but you know what's really going on in the inside is chronic body pain, chronic fatigue. And there's lots of days that I'd wake up and say, oh, please God, help me get through this day. You know, after stem cells, Chloe, my youngest daughter, she was asked by my father-in-law, how's your mom doing? And Chloe said, Grandpa, I've never had a mom like this before, because she was 8 when I was diagnosed, and she really had no other memory of me but being sick. It's really the simple things that we do as a family, like play cards, and to be able to win at cards. You know, they all laugh because I used to repeat myself and say, what hand are we on? You know, where are we at? And it's just been really a true blessing from God, and we're really thankful.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
One of my favorite birds is the crow. And the crow always reminded me of a cowboy walking around. You know, the way he's kind of got that little swagger going on. And they are such smart creatures, and they're so interesting. And they sometimes get kind of lumped in with other birds, undeservedly so. So let's take a look. And crow season is going on right now. Doggone it. It really hurts my heart to see crows killed and doves, but I'm not going to argue with the hunters. But he is a very interesting little critter. So let's take a look at the crow.
Crows are incredible birds. They can count, solve puzzles, and perform other complex tasks. They can mimic sounds, including human voices. Back in the Virginia hills where I come from, the neighbors who ran a still many years ago had a pet crow that warned them when the revenuers were close to the still. Writing for the website Quora, Claire Jordan explained the difference between crows and ravens. Crows and ravens are closely related and are both corvids, said Claire, exceptionally intelligent, omnivorous birds with the problem-solving ability of a human 3- or 4-year-old and a harsh, croaking cry. The raven is about the size of a small chicken, and crows usually about the size of a pigeon. Ravens can be quite predatory and will kill and partially eat lambs. Ravens usually live in small family groups, crows in large flocks. Claire added, the blackbird is a much smaller songbird, a type of thrush. It eats seeds and insects, has a beautiful song, and as far as I know, not particularly bright. Crows tend to be monogamous, mating for life, and waiting to choose a mate. A family of crows can be multi-generational, just like humans. They are affectionate with one another. Leslie the bird nerd has all kinds of reasons for us to like crows and has a great video on the subject. She mentions the fact that crows hold an inquest over their dead and if they determine the cause of death was a bird of prey, they will gang up and go after it. I have personally seen them going after much larger birds, like hawks and owls. Leslie also cites research of crows eating the corn borer, a moth larva that can be especially destructive to crops. Stories of the crow fill the pages of folklore and are surrounded by mystery and sometimes gloom and doom. But take some time to know this brilliant bird, and if you must shoot, watch out for the crow family that may come after you in retaliation. Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Listed on the National Register of Historic Places, the Brown Grand Theater is a majestic opera house in Concordia, Kansas. Built in 1907, the theater has been through a multitude of changes through the years, but has stayed in constant operation and is still providing quality entertainment to the community today. Jason Grogan, director, tells us about the history of the Brown Grand Theater.
Yeah, it was actually started in, construction began in 1905 and was completed in 1907. The opening night was September 17th, 1907, with the Vanderbilt Cup as their first show. That, of course, was based on the Vanderbilt family from the East Coast. They had an annual boat race, but the play had changed it over to be a car race because you know, cars were an up-and-coming thing, and the races were starting, and so 1,000 people in attendance on opening night. It was also the first night that our founder, Napoleon Bonaparte Brown, stepped foot in here. He gave the kids, his son Earl and daughter-in-law Gertrude, basically $40,000 to have this place built, and he was known to sit on his front porch, which his house is about 4 blocks down the street and kind of up on the hill, so he could see the progress of the building be, you know, as it went up. And so he didn't step in here until opening night. And then, of course, a lot of people love to come see our what's called the Napoleon curtain, and this was a hand-painted curtain that was a gift from Earl to Dad for having them build the place. And so very neat. One of the unique features about the Vanderbilt Cup at that time was that it was using modern technology to actually make it look like moving backgrounds and cars racing across the stage. They had them set up on a pulley and treadmill-like system. And so it really gave the audience the feel of cars racing by on stage.
Yeah.
And so basically it operated as a opera house and performance theater until around 1924, when, of course, silent movies were really becoming popular. And so it was sold to a film company, which turned it into a movie theater. And it operated from 1924 to 1977 as a movie theater. And then the town folks decided, well, let's take it back to its original glory the best we could. And so they started doing a fundraiser. They got some grants and were able to then start the restoration process, and was then completed in 1980. And so they had a week-long of festivities with the September 17th, 1980 being the grand reopening.
Yeah.
And a couple ladies in attendance that night were treated like royalty because they were here at the original opening in 1907 and again on the grand reopening in 1980.
That is amazing. It really
Yeah,
is.
pretty neat story. You know, even when it was a movie theater, they said that the stage was plenty big, that they still had live boxing matches, wrestling matches, political campaigns, all kinds of different things. And so
It is wild to think about all the different variety of activities that have taken place in that theater since it opened. It really is. The Brown Grand Theater has a full schedule of events coming up, and you can view that on their website, browngrand.org. Tours can also be scheduled by calling the theater during business hours. Plan a visit soon and enjoy this wonderful piece of Kansas history.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare Supplement insurance plans. With Medicare Supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that's served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare Supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for that grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
The old-timers say the best thing for the inside of a kid is the outside of a horse. And I certainly believe that. I enjoy horseback riding to the point that sometimes I lose track of time. This poem is called Horse Holiday. I had to go to work, but it was still early yet. A thought came to my brain, and soon my mind was set. I calculated minutes as the morning clock I eyed, and thought, hey, I've got time to get in a horseback ride. It would have to be quick, but I'd miss time on my horse. We'd just been too darn busy to get in a ride, of course. The weather would get hot, all the forecasters say, so it just made sense to ride early in the day. I got my gelding saddled. The day was nice and clear. A great day for a ride and a pretty time of year. I rode on down the lane, went to check the upper pond, and took a Flint Hills trail of which I'm very fond. We lingered in the valley, detoured through the glade, and followed an old path which the cows or deer had made. We enjoyed the hilltop view with its panorama vast, And then I checked my phone. Holy smoke, 2 hours passed. I'd enjoyed the pleasant ride and the morning hilltop climb to the point that I had totally lost track of all the time. I galloped to the barn and unsaddled my old hoss, trying to think how I'd explain this to the boss. I hurried into work to meet the office norm, but they said I had to fill out some type of leave form. There were different kinds of leave from which I had to pick, but it's not like a vacation, and I surely wasn't sick. I considered making up some kind of far-fetched story, but instead I created a brand new category. After thinking how to say it in a way they would believe, under other, I wrote in 2 hours of equestrian leave. Happy trails.
Trust and leadership are critical to success at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center in Manhattan. Just ask Coach Bill Snyder.
People of the Regenerative Center do care about others. I've been highly impressed with those people that have that vested interest and try to help people become better. The center really is a wonderful thing here in Manhattan, first of its kind, and we're on the cutting edge of what lies ahead.
Find out more about the trusted leader in stem cell therapy at kansasrmc.com. Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
While in Philadelphia, I had the opportunity, along with my friend Carol Waske, to visit the Academy of Natural Sciences, that institution that is now attached to Drexel University and has an amazing fossil collection. Just an incredible institution. I highly recommend it if you get to the city of brotherly love. Well, my mission was to visit our special Kansas fossil, one that's very special to me and a lot of other folks out in western Kansas, and that's the Elasmosaurus platyurus that was discovered in 1867 by Dr. Theophilus Turner from Fort Wallace and the Post Scout William Comstock. There is a casting of that fossil hanging in the entryway to the Academy of Natural Sciences. So it's the very first thing you see when you walk in the door. And that is just amazing. Hanging there over the visitor's desk, you've got all those amazing T-Rexes and other things off to the side, but that incredible marine beast is hanging over the entryway. So Dr. Ted Dashler was so kind to Carol and me. He took us upstairs to visit the real fossil, which is, of course, in climate-controlled comfort. He is not articulated. He's in pieces in drawers. And we got to check on his well-being, and he's doing pretty well, folks. And just talk about the history of these incredible fossils. And when we look at things for our kids to get interested in, I can't think of anything more Kansas than fossil hunting. And we just shared the story of Chuck Bonner and his family at the Sternberg. That exhibit is still going on. And I was just speaking in Beloit, Kansas, up at the Mitchell County Historical Society. And the guys who were part of discovering that new shark, so Gail Pearson and Fred Smith were along with Mike Everhart when they discovered a new species of shark in Kansas. Now, they made that discovery several years ago, but now it is just coming to the public. They had to keep a lid on it for a while. But if you visit from there, if you go from Mitchell County over to Minneapolis, then you've got these wonderful fossils there. Jetty Condry's dad, who found a fossil when he was plowing, and I think it may be the only one of its kind ever found, and it's named for him. We have such incredible fossil discoveries in Kansas. It's rich, and it's a great way to get the kids outdoors. It's a great way to teach them science. It's a great way to teach them to respect property and to respect nature and to be patient. Digging out these fossils or archaeological remains are tedious and time-consuming and very rewarding task. So as we're looking to the spring and summer months and we've got workshops coming up, I just want to mention some of those incredible fossils with you and how they're recognized in these Chicago and Philadelphia and New York and around the world as such significant discoveries and something Kansas can be so very proud of. So, let's get the kids out hunting fossils.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to western Kansas.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.